let's talk a little bit about reading the chart for Bellmore tank top. I'm sorry, my chart looks a little bit wrinkled today. We were traveling yesterday and I had it in my bag. It looks a little bit wrinkled. But I was able to knit on the road almost the whole repeat of flowers. So when you start a chart, make a note that all the rounds you come into the chart from right to left. So you're going to be reading from the chart all the rounds from right to left. This is where it's numbered. Except for those rounds when you're going to be working short rows. Then when you work back the short row, you're going to be reading your chart from left to right. And you have to make sure that those rows are falling on the even numbers, because all the cables increases and decreases fall on the odd numbers, to make sure that if you're going to be working them in short rows, they're going to be worked on the right side and you're not going to have complications. So just pay attention to that part. Now I'm going to show you how to do the cables. In this pattern we have 2 stitch cables going in to the left and to the right from the main stem. In the chart they are marked as 2 stitch left leaning purl cable and 2 stitch right leaning purl cable. Where in the chart it shows that the white part of it is the knit stitch, which will be this stitch over here, that we're gonna cross it to go to the right, and the left leaning cable is this one, where the white part is crossing over the purl stitch to go to the left, which will be this one. So first we have a right leaning cable, where the stem of the flower is gonna go to the right on the background of purl stitches. So in pattern we're gonna purl 3 stitches. We have 1 more purl stitch left and 1 before the 3 knit stitches. We need to have this knit stitch to go in front of this purl stitch. So to do that, we're gonna put the purl stitch on a cable needle from the back and let it hang in the back. Then you knit this stitch, then you carefully going to put the purl stitch back on the left needle and purl it. Then you're gonna knit 1. This is the stem of the flower, this one. And now we need to put this knit stitch in front of the next purl stitch, leaning to the left. So to do that, we're gonna put this knit stitch from the front on the cable needle and let it hang in the front. We're going to purl the next stitch. Then we're going to put this stitch back on the left needle and knit it. And then you're going to purl to the end 3 stitches. In the next video, I'm going to show you how I do these cables without a cabling needle. I want you to show you how I work these 2 stitch cables without this annoying cable needle. So after we did this first 2 stitch cables, I worked 1 row in pattern, round 6 I should say, and now we are on round 7. I purled 2 stitches, and now we need to do the 2 stitch right leaning increase. So to do that, when I get to these two stitches that I need to cross, I'm going to grab the knit stitch from the front with the tip of the right needle. I'm going to push this needle off and holding on from the back. You see how I'm holding on to the stitch so it doesn't run away from me? I'm going to slip it off the needle, of this needle, and I'm going to put it on this needle. There you go, they're crossed now. So all you have to do now is knit and purl. Should I show it to you again? This is the knit stitch, this is the purl stitch. The knit needs to go in front of the purl. So I'm gonna grab the knit stitch from the front with the working right hand needle, and I'm gonna slip at the same time the purl stitch off the tip of the needle, but I'm holding it. You see, with my fingers I'm holding it, and I'm putting the tip back by slipping this off. And I'm putting the knit stitch on the needle and knitting it right away and purling. Then I have to purl the next stitch, knit, purl. Now we got to the part where we need to do the left leaning knit stitch. So now we need to put this knit stitch in front of this purl. So we're gonna do this one from the back. The purl, you grab it from the back and you're gonna push this needle off so this stitch will slip, but for security I'm holding on to it so it doesn't run away from me. And I'm gonna put it now on the needle, cross them, and you purl the next stitch and you knit after that, and that's how it's done. Then you purl to the end till the stitch marker.